taking you around the ultimate dream destination of Bora Bora. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of trip, as in it's very expensive, it's a little hard to get here if you're not from the west coast of the United States, we wanted to show 2 different hotels so we can help you narrow down which one is going to be the best experience for you. And so starting off with our experience at the Bora Bora Four Seasons, immediately amazing. They pick you up right from the airport. You will get greeted, you'll get your lei, they'll help you with your baggage, and then you're loaded onto a beautiful big boat where they're gonna give you some towels, some water, and the boat even has Wi-Fi, which is crazy. So really nice experience. It's about a 15-minute boat ride from the airport in Bora Bora over to the Four Seasons property. You'll get greeted with a Polynesian song as well as some welcome drinks as you check in. The check-in process was super seamless. Our room happened to be ready early, so we were able to check in early. And she also gave us a golf cart tour of the whole property, which was really nice to acquaint ourselves during our stay here. And now we get to go and explore the rest of the property today. We don't have any tours booked. We are going to be eating at a few of the restaurants here to see what their food is like and what they offer. And of course, have some fun until sunset. So we booked both of these properties using points online. We booked the Four Seasons using Amex points, and we booked the St. Regis using Marriott Bonvoy points. So that is one way to do it to help mitigate your costs. Another way to do it is to go through Costco Travel. It seems like a lot of honeymooners here go through Costco, and that will save you a ton of money, especially if you're booking airfare through them as well as your hotels. Of course, the last way to do it is by saving up cold hard cash. Definitely recommend trying a travel hack if you want the best deals possible. Come on in. This is our mountain view room here at the Four Seasons Bora Bora. So let me show you around. It is massive. It starts off with a coffee bar. It is all included. And then we have a little mini fridge over here. We get some juice, some beer, some water, and they said the first time we use it, it's complimentary, but after that we do have to pay for it, which is different than the past 2 resorts that we've stayed at on the other islands. We have a nice safe. They give us a little schedule, which is nice to reference for our stay, all the activities that they're doing. So like tomorrow they're doing complimentary yoga, there's ukulele class, group snorkeling, pearls, stargazing, a ton of different things you can do just on the property. A nice sitting area. Like there's so many good places to sit in this room. Then they gave us some complimentary champagne because it's our honeymoon, which is really nice. And then we got a massive bathtub. This will be used. And apparently we can open these doors. And then right out there is the massive, beautiful mountain that we can look at. So definitely we'll be taking advantage of that. Then we got some his and hers sinks in here. We got the bathroom and a giant mirror. Lots of space in here. They give you complimentary little flip-flops and mosquito repellent, which if you know, after this trip, I definitely need. Then we got the master bedroom. It's pretty big, and we each have our own like separate sides and closets. And then out here, I think it's locked. Nope, I'm just an idiot. Out here we have our beautiful view. Like, look at this. We're here in Bora Bora. So this is the mountain view room. There's a ton of different types of bungalows you can get here, but we wanted to have a nice view of Mount Otemanu. If I said that right, hopefully I did.
Mount Otemanu.
And so that's why we chose this room, but there are other types and categories of the bungalows as well. It's nice because we have our own little ladder or just some chairs to hang out there, and then we have our sunbeds, our lounges right here. We also did book this through Amex portal, so we also get some nice perks along with this kind of room. So we also get an $100 activities credit, we get our free breakfast every single day, guaranteed late checkout, and we were able to check in early. So that was the really nice thing about doing that through the fine dining and resorts program on the Amex portal. So highly recommend if you're doing it yourself to book it that way, so that way you get some extra perks. So this wraps up our 2-night stay here at the Four Seasons, and we're gonna see you over at the St. Regis. All right, now we're here at the St. Regis, and we just checked in today. Such a stunning property, and let's give you a little room tour, and then after we'll show you a few of the activities you can do around the property, and then of course we'll get into comparing the two. Let's go. So So one of the most noticeable differences between the St. Regis and the Four Seasons is that the St. Regis gives everyone a bike, which is so awesome. That way you can get around a little bit easier. You don't have to walk everywhere like you do at the Four Seasons. Now, of course, at both properties, you can always call for a pickup on a golf cart, but this is just nice to explore the island on your own and have a little fun. And then unlike the Four Seasons, we have a traditional room key, not a wristband. Come on in. So over here we have our main room, our main little living room. Super cute little details that I loved is they gave us little postcards that you can send with envelopes, which is so cute, adorable. We will definitely be sending one. We do have a little mini mart menu as well as the spa menu here, which is nice to have on hand. It is not a stocked mini fridge, so you do have to call and order whatever you want in your mini fridge, and it is additional fees. Over here, we have our little sitting dining area, and they gave us some complimentary water, which I put in the fridge, and then they gave us some local snacks, which are cool. So we have some candied coconut, we have some coffee and coconut candy, and then we have some dried bananas, and it's all from local vendors. So really cool little touches here. And of course they gave us a bottle of champagne since we're celebrating our honeymoon. At every property we've gone to so far, they've also given us a little beach bag. This one's really nice quality, and it has a little mini one underneath it, or inside of it as well, that we get to take home, which is a nice touch too. Now let's go to the main bedroom. It is so big and it's so cute. It's the first one too that did towel art. Adorable. I love the little flowers on the bed and everything. Gonna see how cozy it is tonight. The one at the Four Seasons was ridiculously cozy, so it's gonna be hard to beat. And then we have a little sitting area. They also have our balcony right here. Two ways out. You can either go from this room or the living room. This one's a little bit different of a layout. So we have our lounge chairs right here, and then we have our dining area right there. And then we have our steps down to our beautiful view. It is insane. It's so crazy because the Four Seasons and the St. Regis actually share a motu. Like, it is connected on the same island. So we didn't think the view of Mount Otemanu was gonna be that different, but it really is. Over here, we don't get this little side island obscuring the view at all. So you have a nice, like, straight on view of the mountain from over here, but both of them offer fantastic views. So yeah, we're excited. Hopefully we get a good sunset. It was raining a little bit earlier, but we're hoping for the best. Next room, I picture like the really fast speed up. Same as the last one, we also have a speaker next to the bed, which is nice. And then we have our master bathroom. We have his and her sinks. We have a nice little area. This is different. No one else has had this as well. This whole week we've been doing French Polynesia is a little getting ready area with a nice little seat and blow dryer and things like that. Then we have our shower and our bathtub, and they give you some bath salt as well that they make handmade here on property at the spa. We already took a bath. It was fantastic. Used some of the salts. And then we have a little open concept shower. I was telling Steven, I was like, if you were a family traveling together staying in the bungalow, that'd be kind of awkward without any doors on the shower. But I like it. It's cool. I like the open concept. And that is it for our little room tour. Then we have our little foyer. But yeah, we'll show you the rest of the property. We had a really great lunch here when we first checked in at their bar restaurant. We're heading to the Lagoon restaurant tonight, which is the fancy restaurant. And it's the #1 restaurant on Google for all of the restaurants in Bora Bora. So very intrigued to see how good the food is, because the food at the Four Seasons was fantastic.
The check-in process was also super easy because we got to get our own butler. She's basically in charge of everything, so we can call her and she's gonna help us get our clothes pressed. She's gonna arrange all of our massages. While she was showing us around, we mentioned that we wanted to get a massage, and instantly she got in contact with the massage with the spa, which apparently was booked up for our entire stay here, and she was able to get us an appointment right away. So the service already has been incredible. It's really nice that we get our own personal butler for anything that we want. We've only had that in one other spot in Jamaica, but it wasn't the best experience. So really interested to see how that is for our entire stay here at the St. Regis. Good morning from paradise. It has been such a beautiful morning, beautiful blue skies. We saw some astrophotography last night. And one of our favorite things is that you can order French press coffee right away in the morning. So all you have to do is pick up your phone, press 9. 9 is like the magic number here at the St. Regis, and they bring our French press coffee within 10 minutes. You can order a bunch of different stuff like that. Our butler said good morning, brought us some chocolate this morning. It was a really, really nice experience. In a little bit, we're gonna have a canoe breakfast too, which we're super stoked about. But that's one thing that is kind of different than the Four Seasons is here. You do have that butler, so you just get that extra level of service. We're over at the Four Seasons, I believe it was an additional charge, or you had to go to breakfast to get the coffee. So just a little bit different right off to start the morning, but the views have been incredible. Giselle got her flower crown this morning, was so stoked, and we're really excited to see how this canoe breakfast is like.
So we just had our canoe breakfast delivered, and I was unaware that we were going to be able to go in the canoe, and they'll take us around for a little ride. So we got to go out on the water in the canoe while they set up our breakfast, and this is a feast. Like, look at this. This is a lot of food. Absolutely insane. You get to pre-arrange it when you guys get here. We booked ours before in advance to make sure that we could get one. And yeah, it's insane. They also offer this at the Four Seasons, but we only want to do it once since it is extra charge at both hotels. But wow, such a cool experience. Definitely recommend doing this at least once during your stay here at either the St. Regis or the Four Seasons. But the St. Regis, that was awesome. This is the second pool on property here at the St. Regis. This is the Oasis pool. It's the adults only pool. Unlike the main pool over by all the restaurants, this one is located right in the middle of the bungalows, and it is really nice. Nobody is out here using it, but it is really nice. They have each individual cabana where you can scan and order some food straight to your cabana if you want to order some lunch or some drinks. They also have a phone. You can call your butler at any time in each cabana, which is super nice, as well as a little ice hut and water fill-up station. So really surprised that nobody else is taking advantage of the pool over here. It's stunning. It's definitely nicer than the first pool. This one is like, it really does feel like an oasis compared to the main pool. So you can see each cabana has its own little blocked off pool area, and then there's a more central one in the middle next to the fountain. So that's kind of fun. You definitely spend a lot of time here.
All right, we just got back. We've had about a week to kind of process, think, so we're gonna give you our full review on which one we think is better, the Four Seasons, St. Regis, and which one you should pick for your Bora Bora vacation.
Now let's get started with what was similar between the two properties, because they did have a lot of overlap when it comes to their services and amenities and things like that. Starting with the check-in process, both resorts offer boats to get you to their own little private motus. If you do want to go to mainland Bora Bora, they do both offer shuttles that'll take you over to the island. I believe the one on the St. Regis is free, but it's only from a certain time of day, like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or something like that. And there's only one that you can catch. Whereas at the Four Seasons, I do believe that you have to pay for it to go back and forth. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% certain that's how it was. But we didn't take that because we just booked excursions around Bora Bora instead. So in terms of the actual check-in process, both of them were super smooth. We booked through Amex points for the Four Seasons. We booked through Marriott Bonvoy points for the St. Regis. We highly recommend trying to travel hack both of these properties so that way it's gonna be a little less expensive, because they're both gonna be expensive regardless of using points or not. Both of the properties are pretty pricey when it comes to food, drinks, and things like that, but they do have a lot of things included. We stayed in the exact same room category at both properties, which was the Mount Otemanu Overwater Bungalows, and both of them were very similar in terms of like what they had in the rooms. We'll get into that in a sec. In terms of the staff at check-in, both were fantastic, but we definitely felt like the St. Regis had a better check-in process because they have your own like personal butler immediately once you start checking in and arriving on the island. The check-in process at the Four Seasons was still fantastic, but this one at the St. Regis was a little more personalized in my opinion. Once you get on each of the islands, both did greet us with a property tour around on the golf carts that they have on site, which is really nice to get yourself acquainted with where everything is. Both properties have sunscreen and water fill-up stations, which is really handy as amenities, especially if you don't want to spend a ton of money on buying water bottles and if you forgot some sunscreen or you ran out during your trip to French Polynesia.
Couple other similarities are they both have paddleboard and kayak rentals that you can do every single day when you are trying to get out on the water. Another really nice thing is if you have the Overwater bungalows, they both have outdoor showers. So as soon as you come up the ladder, you're filled with salt water. If you go and snorkel or go for a swim, they are both gonna have the outdoor shower for you. Really easy. And when we checked in, they both gave us beach bags, which was really nice. The St. Regis one was definitely a little bit nicer. It was probably the nicest beach bag we got out of all of ours on our trip to the French Polynesia, but the one at Four Seasons was still fantastic.
Next up, when it came to arriving to our room, we had champagne and some snacks waiting for us in both of our bungalows, which was really nice. So they were both pretty similar in that regards, and if you're celebrating a special event like a honeymoon or an anniversary, make sure to tell the staff so that they know to celebrate you and spoil you. You'll get a mini bar at each of them as well. We mainly just used it to store like our own stuff like that we brought from Tahiti at the duty free, because as we said in our previous Moorea video, if you didn't see that, go ahead and check it out up here. That alcohol is very expensive on the island, so we highly recommend buying some at duty free, whether you're at LAX, SFO, wherever you're coming from, or at the store when you arrive in Tahiti, because it does get pretty pricey if you're planning on drinking.
Two more similarities are the laundry service. At both of them, you can get your laundry done. At the St. Regis, they just said 2 hours before dinner, let us know, we'll take it, press it, and you can have a nice outfit for dinner so it's not wrinkly. Same thing at the Four Seasons, you can do laundry on both of them, and it's right outside the bungalows, which is really convenient. And both of them have tennis courts, so if you want to go out on a beautiful day and play tennis or pickleball, it has both amenities there.
I will say the tennis courts at the Four Seasons were much bigger. There's like one court at the St. Regis, but we're not really tennis players, so that doesn't really apply to us. So now that we finished up kind of comparing the similarities, let's dive into the differences. So let's start with the Four Seasons because that's where we went first. The clientele was very different than the St. Regis. So we noticed when we were staying there that the Four Seasons had a lot more families with young kids. It was still a ton of couples, but we found that it was a lot more older people, a lot more people in their like 40s and 50s, less younger couples, more anniversary celebrators rather than honeymooners. Whereas at the St. Regis, we found it was a lot more honeymooners, a lot more young couples, a lot more people in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah, the St. Regis definitely felt more busy. As soon as we got there, when we went around on our little tour, the beach was full. We almost had a hard time finding some chairs on the beach because it was so full. The pool had a ton of people in it. Everywhere just felt like there was quite a few honeymooners. All the restaurants felt pretty full. Whereas at the Four Seasons, everything did feel a lot more empty. There was a lot more space, much more quiet on the Four Seasons. So that was a big difference, especially as soon as we got there with just the atmosphere at the two resorts.
I personally felt like we had a lot more privacy at the Four Seasons. And the Four Seasons does have a higher price tag than the St. Regis, although the St. Regis was, I think, the first Forbes 5-star luxury hotel in Bora Bora. It definitely felt like the Four Seasons was more exclusive, more hard to get to, like that kind of style of luxury. I guess if you were gonna put it in like layman's terms, I felt like Four Seasons was more old money and St. Regis was like more new money. I don't know. That's how I kind of think of it in my head. When it comes to the pool on the property at the Four Seasons, it absolutely destroyed the St. Regis pools, I will say. That one had a gorgeous view of Mount Otemanu. The view from the pools at the St. Regis, one of the pools you could kind of see it. The other one, it was pretty blocked from the view. They're both very nice pools, don't get me wrong, but we're getting in the nitty gritty because these are both expensive resorts that I would prefer to sit and lay in the pool and drink a coconut at the Four Seasons versus the St. Regis.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The St. Regis has two pools, which is kind of nice, but the pools are both smaller. They're both not as nice. Like she was saying, they don't feel as magical. The view at the Four Seasons was 10 times better in my opinion. Now let's jump into the food. So in our opinion, the breakfast and the lunches at the Four Seasons were much better. They had a better breakfast buffet that was included for us, and the lunches, you have a stunning view over the mountains at the Four Seasons, where at the St. Regis, you have less of a view. The breakfast for the buffet in the morning was okay, but the dinners at the St. Regis were phenomenal. They do have more dinner options compared to the Four Seasons when it comes to how many restaurants they have, and the one at the St. Regis, their main one that overlooks the water with the beautiful view of the mountain, was definitely our favorite restaurant on the island.
The Lagoon restaurant at the St. Regis was an experience. Like, that's the one that Steven's talking about, and it definitely was the most experimental, like trendy gastronomy restaurant that we went to during our entire honeymoon. Whereas the restaurants at the Four Seasons, the dinners were absolutely phenomenal as well. And the service at both, like with our waiters and whatnot, were fantastic. But they're also like meals I could get anywhere else, you know? So Four Seasons will take breakfast, St. Regis will take dinners.
Now let's jump into views. In our opinion, the views at the Four Seasons, just from the beach, the pool, everywhere, felt a lot more magical. It had that beautiful view of the mountain right on the beach while you were relaxing. Compared to the St. Regis, it just faces a little bit of a different way. So if you have the Overwater bungalow with the mountain view, of course you're gonna get that stunning view. If you guys are at the Lagoon restaurant, you're gonna have that amazing view, but the view from the pool and the beach and all of the other places where you can kind of hang out, you don't really have that beautiful view of the mountain. So in our opinion, we definitely think the views of just when you're relaxing on the beach are better at the Four Seasons.
That kind of extends into the Overwater bungalow views of Mount Otemanu as well. We liked that at the Four Seasons. The bathtub that we had in our room was directly facing the mountain, and it was kind of cool because you could open up the blinds and then you're just sitting in your bath and then like this beautiful view, drinking champagne. That felt like a true honeymoon moment. Whereas at the St. Regis, we did have a really great tub, but it didn't have any views. So, all right, now let's get into all the things we love about the St. Regis.
So one of the main things initially when we got to the St. Regis that we loved is there's bikes for you if you have the Overwater bungalows or any of the other rooms, which you are absolutely gonna need because the property at the St. Regis is gigantic. At the Four Seasons, I feel like we could walk basically the entire property pretty quick, where at the St. Regis, it is absolutely gigantic. So we couldn't walk to dinner. It'd be like almost a full mile to get there. So instead we would have the bikes, which is definitely one thing that we loved, where the Four Seasons, you did not have that. Another thing that we loved is there's more paddle crafts that you can do for free. So they had different types of motorcraft that you could take out. They had all the different outrigger canoes. They had different types of windsurfing. There was so many things that you could take out at the St. Regis, where over at the Four Seasons, you really only could take out the paddle boards and the kayaks. We did say how we love the pools at the Four Seasons better, but the one nice thing about the pool at the St. Regis is it does have a swim up bar. So if it does get really hot and you want to take a nice dip and have a drink in the pool, it does have that availability.
All right, next up, and this is why I really think the St. Regis took the lead for us, is the service. The service there was absolutely incredible. We went to the Four Seasons first, thought the service was amazing, but then after going to the St. Regis, we kind of reevaluated. We were like, wow, that was so incredible. Our butler, Chloe, was absolutely fantastic. The second we arrived, she took care of us, where we kind of made the mistake of not booking like a spa appointment in advance of your stay. Definitely recommend doing if you are staying at either of these properties. We tried calling at the Four Seasons, couldn't get in. We tried calling at the St. Regis and our butler made it happen. Our butler just like came through, we got our couples massage and that was awesome. I wanted a flower crown. She came next morning, immediately delivered it. Like, they are so fast and so responsive and really, really nice. So I think that the butler service there, incredible, takes the cake on that department. And then also just the little details. I feel like everyone was treated so personally, and down to just walking in the room, there was little towel art, there were rose petals on the bed, there were little things that they just did throughout our stay that made us feel very special. Same thing at the Four Seasons, just not to the extreme extent that the St. Regis employees went out of their way to. Next up, let's talk about the water at the bungalows on each of the properties. So at the St. Regis, the water was definitely clearer. It's odd because they're on the same island, but the water is very different somehow. So I would definitely say if you were trying to do a lot of swimming outside of your bungalow, I would recommend the St. Regis. They had so much more sea life, like a lot more sea life than the Four Seasons. Whether you were trying on snorkeling, swimming, paddleboarding, etc. Like when we went out paddleboarding at both of the properties, we saw a ton of stingrays, we saw a ton of fish over at the St. Regis, and we didn't really see anything over at the Four Seasons Lagoon. Could have just been like the day, but we saw a lot more sea life during our stay at the St. Regis. And also like the current was definitely a little stronger at the Four Seasons.
A lot more stronger.
Yeah, it was stronger at the Four Seasons. So if you're just trying to swim outside your bungalow, keep that in mind. St. Regis was a little less current. You could definitely enjoy it a little more, but you did have to work a little bit swimming at both of them if you're gonna stay in the water for a prolonged period of time. If you're bringing floaties, which a lot of people do, and you bring some rope to tie up to your bungalow, bungalow. What's nice about the St. Regis, at least what they had told us, was they'll blow it up for you so you don't need to bring a pump or anything. I don't know about the Four Seasons, but because that didn't come up, but that was a nice little touch as well.
In the room as well, when we were at the Four Seasons, there were no robes. Maybe it was just because they forgot about them, but at the St. Regis, they did have robes, and they brought us different robes depending on how tall you were. So the first day, I had a very short robe. It was definitely a woman's robe. And then I think our butler saw us and was like, oh, we need to get this man a better robe. And the next day when we came in, it was a much nicer, longer, more elegant robe. So just a little thing that the St. Regis had over the Four Seasons.
He seems a big robe guy now. I've converted him. Robes and slippers.
And then the food options as well. There were more gluten-free vegetarian options at the St. Regis compared to the food options at the Four Seasons. If we were to sum up both the properties, I would say if you're looking for more exclusivity, if you're looking for a much more quiet atmosphere, or more peaceful with a more beautiful view, if you just want to sit on the beach, look at the beautiful mountain and relax, I would choose Four Seasons for you. But if you guys are looking for better service, a little bit more lively, better nightlife, younger crowd, a little bit more bustling, and top tier service, then I would recommend the St. Regis. Both the properties are absolutely incredible. Two of the top properties we've ever stayed at out of all the countries that we've traveled to. And if you guys are going on your honeymoon, you're gonna be splurging anyway. You're celebrating your beautiful marriage. That was where we picked for our honeymoon out of all the places we could have gone in the world, and we wouldn't have changed it any other way.
Make sure to keep an eye out for property deals as well. For example, the Four Seasons, if you booked 3 nights, you can get another one free. We didn't do that because we wanted to compare the two and do like 2 and 2 on each island. But just keep in mind, Marriott sometimes runs deals as well. So set some notifications on both of your emails for those properties.
And that is it for our comparison between the Four Seasons and the St. Regis. Be on the lookout. Next week, we're gonna have our ultimate guide to French Polynesia with all the islands that we visited, because it is one of our top bucket list destinations now.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for our other French Polynesia content, and we'll see you on the next adventure.